Hello, welcome to the UTSA Nerdbird tournament. Here we go. We have a champ select getting ready to go into one of the two games that's currently going on. We'll be watching one today on this stream. Let's see who we have already picked up on blue team. Blue team, we already have Alistair picked up. Looks like they have a lot of good pick and a pretty nasty team fight with all the knockups. And in terms of CC, you cannot use any sort of CC reduction as far as for the knockups, so the hardest form of CC that there is. On the purple team, looks like Miramat's going to lock in a Gnar. We have a sated Jungler from the Master Yi. Poppy potentially going to get locked in. We'll see who the bottom lane is going to go to over here. If that Poppy does get locked in, it will definitely go to support since the top lane and the Jungler have already been locked in. Alright. So I do kind of like the Poppy pick coming in here. The Alistair will be negated as far as for his engage. However, the Malphite cannot be stopped as his ult is immune to all forms of CC. Let's see what finishes up this blue team comp over here. So a little bit interesting of a comp from the purple team because we have the PO/engage from the Gnar over here, which the Master will definitely go in with if they are able to get a good combo with. And then from the Poppy, you still have sort of a disengage, more or less appeal for the Ezreal, which should be pretty good as far as for keeping him safe. Muffin will definitely lock in this Teemo, knowing him. Just kidding, of course. So it looks like he is going for the early all-in with the Talon, and I'm not... Okay, so definitely going for a level 2 spike, taking the Ignite with the Alistair, going for a quick cheese, I guess you could say. Poppy does not negate the Talon Blink since it is not a dash or anything of that sort. So he will 100% get on top of the Ezreal or Poppy, whoever they choose to focus. And obviously try and get an early first blood and then just snowball the game from there. I actually really like the blue team's comp rounded out with all the CC. Let's see what purple team ends up finishing up with. So the other good thing about the blue team is that they will have a very good early game as far as for the Elise, since she's able to put a lot of pressure in on people and make sure that she's able to pressure lanes, get people ahead so that they're able to snowball bottom lane very quickly. From Purple's side, it looks like they're going to need a little bit more time to scale. Obviously, Ezreal doesn't hit a power spike until he gets his Mirror Mana completely finished, which will put him a little bit behind. Let's see. Looks like we will have a mid lane from a Zillion. All right. So all in all, if the purple team can probably just outlast the first initial burst from blue team, if they get engaged on pretty heavily on a carry, they should be just fine to peel back and keep dragging along the fight. Obviously, with the Talon pick for the ADC, they're going to be lacking more or less good tower taking ability since they don't have a whole lot of range for good consistent damage. However, purple team just needs to make sure that they keep up their pink ward coverage and flanks, just because if anybody is able to penetrate through the back line, they will more than likely get nuked. So let's go ahead, and now we have a 3-minute delay. So let's see what we have. The Malphite, considering that the purple team does survive the initial burst as well, hopefully the Lutz is positioning correctly enough to the point where she could peel back and the rest of the team can just kite away. But we'll see how that all actually plays out in the end. I do really like the Poppy though, considering that they only get onto the front line for the blue team. She can simply ult people away. So overall, the synergy between the teams is pretty interesting in my opinion. But we'll see how that all plays out in the very end. And let's try and avoid any awkwardness and put on at least some sort of music. So let's see how all of this plays out. The blue team is going to have a lot better objective control, especially early on in the game. However, the Mastery does need to get those sated stats unless he decides to go something otherwise. So control around the dragons, the Rift Herald, and the Scuttlers is going to be very important. So we'll see how teams communicate, set up TP plays, and everything like that. All right, and we're loading up into the game now. So kind of interesting. I didn't notice this until just
Rated
right now.
Their evolution.
No. Okay. So the Mastery decided to go for the exhaust, which is a lot better as far as for early ganking, since Mastery obviously doesn't have any CC. The only thing that I guess you could consider as CC would be if he were to get a red buff and then establish the slow onto the person that he would be auto-attacking. So that will help him out. I guess he could use that for the Talon when he hops in, just to kind of counter the initial burst, which will be very good. They just have to make sure that they don't get caught up with the Lutz when she follows up with a full combo, considering everybody else is in range. Now from the Poppy, hopefully we'll see a Locket or something else very useful coming out, since the blue team does have a bit of poke as far as for magic as well. Let me rearrange everything down here. Muffin ruining things with the Talon ADC. Just looks awkward. Alright, looks like we're good here. So actually no invade coming out of the blue team. Looks like they have set up though, just in case an invade comes in. There is a ward down for the red team right there. It's not bad. So pretty standard starts here. I'm wondering what the routes are going to be for the junglers. Elise obviously has very good early game pressure compared to the Yi. So as far as for gains and what would be probably the best bet, I could say that maybe the Poppy, since Ezreal has his blink to get away. However, at the same time, the Poppy will be able to CC or kind of peel for herself and also block the Elise coming in with the Q. Alright, so bot lane looks like we got a little bit of harass going on early, which is good, rightly so. You don't want to allow the Talon and the early cheese to come on in uncontested as far as for 100 to 0. Look at the early poke. Let's take a look at all the items going on here. Nothing special. Oh, actually we have a double relic shield, so bottom lane should stay consistently healthy as far as on both ends here. It's actually kind of nifty for them to do. So red team actually hits level 2, which should actually favor them now from the all-in. Since it was a Talon bottom lane, the level 2 spike was really important to hit first. However, since that was negated, that pretty much got rid of all of that pressure from them coming in early. Top lane got a little bit of harass coming on here. Good follow up here. We'll see if Elise is able to do anything with it. Level 3, no, okay. No summoner spells burned either. Good being mindful from the easy as far as for the range. Alright, so Master Yi and are they? Nope, he's just getting the Scuttler already. Elise is already on bot side. Let's see if she's able to make anything happen right here. Gotta make sure to get the good combo from the Alistair on the back end right there. There's the Poppy. At least a knockup's gonna be coming in. There you go. You have a flash pulverize. She already burned flash. And the execute right here. No good, actually. We have a TP from top lane, first blood for the Gnar. Very good follow-up. Got the bounce to make sure that he's not going to be able to get away and just chase him. Pass that over to Ezreal? No, actually. We almost had a follow-up TP from top lane. However, they decided to cancel that one, seeing that they were greatly outnumbered, and he was definitely not going to be able to capitalize anything on that one. It's a really good start for the red team. Able to avoid any sort of disasters there. Now, Ezreal is very at the moment. So probably going to go back pretty soon and pick up a tier. Muffin down here on the talent does have to be very careful for the 2v1 since the Poppy is able to establish a stun, considering that she positions correctly onto the wall. Mastery top lane simply covering from the TP from the Gnar. So good communication from the red team. And in all honesty, that went probably the best that it could for them since the Malphite also opted to TP here. We have an all-in from the Master E with the slow on the red since he knows that Gnar is in the area. Having exhaust burned, probably a little bit unnecessary since there was no way to follow up on that since the Gnar missed the Q. Also, just from that level of health, the Malphite would have been able to just flash away as well. Let's see what else we kind of got going on here. Mid lane farming, it looks like the Lutz is doing just fine. Pizzo's also got some farm going. Looks like the wave's gonna shove to the Lutz. And all in all, the lanes are pretty even for the farm with Lutz. Oh, here we have Elise, good positioning right here. Went up into the repel a little bit early, probably predicting an earlier flash and just to follow up on that. Oh, and the pickup on the back end from the Ignite. Very well done from the Zilean. So I would say that that was probably worth the flash, considering that he ended up getting the kill. Picked up a red buff for his troubles as well. So unfortunately, not really going to be able to make much use of that red buff, only because of how squishy Zilean is and not able to auto-attack too heavily onto the Lutz. However, it doesn't help, or it doesn't hurt, all in all. Let's see what we got going on top lane. It's a little bit of a wet noodle fight. Merrimack getting a little bit of trading here with the Malphite with his 3 proc for the percent. Now, Elise needs to be keeping an eye on this since the Gnar is consistently throwing out the Qs, putting a lot of pressure onto the Malphite here. Could potentially set up for a kill, considering that they timed the Mega correctly. This bottom lane cheese seems to have been stopped pretty hard. We'll see if there's anything that's going to happen from a level 6 here. Pretty doubtful though. Master E farming up 10 in the jungle off of... Oh, and we have an all-in from the Gnar stun into the wall. We'll see if the Malphite's able to get out of this one. Knock up under the... Actually, no, right out of tower range. Okay. So Gnar ends up burning a flash there. Malphite is only going to use the ult. So I would say that that's definitely a trade favoring the Malphites. Gnar still does have a bit of pressure with the slow, as you can see there. However, Malphite should be safe enough considering that he doesn't take too much poke. Uh-oh, and we might have an all-in over here. We have a knock-up. The really good stun from the Poppy into the walls and make sure that that was negated as far as for a complete hunt combo. Also, the fact that the talent is not level 6, which he will hit right here. We have to still keep an eye out for this to see if he's going to make any big plays. Level 6 now? Doesn't appear so. So considering that the wave was going to favor them... Oh, and we have a roam from the Zilean. Looks like T-Pizzle's coming on down. Get some good damage right here. It's going to come back up. And here we have Master E. Let's see what he's able to do with this. Elite Muffin is right now, just a couple more auto attacks. Good flash for the save. Here we have Lutz following up. Good stun into the wall. So actually everybody gets out of that completely fine. That was really good. Good trades on both ends right here. Uh-oh, now we might have a chase from the Gnar onto the Elise. Doesn't appear that he's going to follow up with that. Now this Malphite is Probably needs to go back very soon. Get something to help out with his regeneration as far as for the poke from the Gnar. The Gnar, we'll see what he ends up going with. It looks like he'll probably go more towards Black Cleaver just for the extra damage and the penetration just to knock down what he's doing. At the same time though, it wouldn't necessarily be bad to go for something like a Frozen Mallet, but we'll see how that all plays out. Got a little mastery flash going on over here. It's a good show from top lane. TP is up for the Malphite, probably saving it for a little bit bigger plays onto bottom lane or somewhere mid, just to make sure that they're grouped up with the team. Now hopefully the laning phase will start coming to a little bit of an end. Teams start grouping, utilizing their strengths a little bit better. And CC onto the Master E. Good timing as far as for the knockup, and here we have a kill picked up for the Talon. Very good. Very good from the Alistar to save his knockup until the very end of the stun, just to make sure that you get the most effective use out of the CC that you have right here. Knocked back into the wall for the Poppy. I don't think that they want to do an all-in. They obviously have the ward in the bush to see that the Zilean is right around the corner. Israel still farming bot. Here we have a trait for top side. Good time to harass the Gnar, of course, when he is in his mini form, as he doesn't have as many tanky stats as when he is in the Mega. He does have the Mastery to steal health, though. And here, let's see if we have any plays. Right on the edge. Oh, and here we have an all-in from Gnar. This should be a pickup for a kill from the Elise if she lands the Cocoon. There we go, full combo. Gnar is able to get them into the wall, though. See if anything's picked up here. We have the Repel, Malphite knockup. There we go. Very good teamwork. That was actually a really good Gnar ult, however, didn't have enough damage on the back end. Let's see if Master E is able to do anything. He cannot be slow, but he can be hard CC'd, which great Cocoon by at least T-Pizzle. About to face check this, double Q into a death. There it is. Nice roam up top. Let's missing some steal shots there, so overall, more or less an even trade as far as for kill for kill. Looks like nobody's missing out on any real farm for middle lane. Looks like we are going for an early Rift Herald. Well, not really early, it's already 11 minutes. Something definitely necessary for the Sated Devourer on Master E, however. Let's see who they pass this one off to. They actually pass it off to the Master E, okay. Let's see how many stats he actually has at the moment now. So got it not too long ago, this will pick up 2. Has to make sure to watch this next dragon. If they're able to get that, he really doesn't need much longer to go as far as for finishing the Sated. And bottom lane looks like we had an all-in. Let's actually go back to make sure that we catch all that. Alright. So a little bit of poke here. Oh, they are mispositioned right there. Poppy left the Ezreal, allowing the Alistar to come on in, which is something that you can't do. If you're going to play this type of bottom lane, you have to always make sure to be on top of the Ezreal. Yes, there is still the risk of the flash pulverize from the Alistar. However, you still don't want to risk that. If that's what they end up using to get onto you, then that's going to be a little bit more worth it than you having a dead Ezreal. So that's going to open up a free dragon for the blue team, it looks like. Red answers back with a top lane tower. Good shove, good pressure from the Gnar. Gonna go for a little bit of trade for the harass right here. Pick up from the dragon, and now blue team looks like they're in a tough position right here. Stun onto the Talon. Talon gets knocked up as well. Can we get a full combo onto him? We do, and the Master E picks that up, stacking up his Sated. Master E goes down, however. Poppy's stuck in a little bit of a sticky situation, and she goes down as well. So good TP from the Malphite. We have a flash from middle lane right there. Looks like the Zilean ult was burned in the whole process as well. Here comes the Gnar down from the top lane though. He did take that tower, so that's going to shove all the way to the tier 2 for the blue team. See if he's able to put a little bit of pressure mid, at least to stall this out until his team's able to respond. Ooh, heavy poke there. All right, now let's take a look at the items for the teams and how everybody's doing. So top lane is stacking up a bit of extra farm for the Gnar. Looks like he's got about 40 CS up. Obviously, the Master Yi's been heavily farming in his own jungle just to make sure that he gets as much sated stats as possible. Then he ended up getting 1 kill and 1 assist, which will help him out along the way. The blue team, let's see, we will have the Spooky Ghost coming out for the Lutz. Talon went for the CDR with the Ghost Blade, which is good for early all-in, make sure that he's able to catch and stick on top of his opponent right there. In terms of farm, bottom lane is dead even as soon as this wave's running a shove. And so red team is actually up about 1.5k at the moment. Let's see if they're able to use that to their advantage. So I'm really curious once the team fights actually roll about how this all-in is going to work for the blue team. Obviously they need to get to the back line for that Ezreal. The Gnar is going to be able to deal out a decent bit of damage with the Black Cleaver. Didn't end up going for the Frozen Mallets. Master Yi still needs a little bit more time to hit his real power spike with the Sated Devourer and also with the Rage Blade. Now we have a freeze here, just crashing into the tower. A little bit of pickup on the double golems for the extra CS and for the experience. Poppy ends up finding a little bit of a reward over here with the pink ward. At least top side. So no real pressure. This is more or less a slower part of the game since no objectives are on the map as far as a herald or a dragon. Gnar probably needs to start getting a little bit more with his team as far as since the tower is gone, so he could utilize his teleport with less loss for a top lane, minus just some CS. However, the tower shouldn't be at risk of going down, especially versus a Malphite who doesn't have a whole lot as far as for tower taking abilities. And Poppy is back with her Ezreal. Top lane looks like we have a little bit of an invade here. Master is running around the corner. Don't think that Malphite is fully aware of what's going on here. Crosses over a pink ward, sees that. Let's see if he gets collapsed on here. Elise is waiting around the side. We have an Ezreal ult coming through. Alright, so grouping from the blue team. Good rotation. Ooh, the double Q. Here we have Poppy going all in on the Talon. Talon ults and gets out of the way for free with the invisible. So really good use of the stun there, and potentially red team should be able to trade this. Gnar's about to go mega. Don't think that he's going to be wanting to go all in though. I'd say Master Yi's not here. The rest of the team probably can't follow up on any good CC that he would potentially have. Lanes looks like are favoring slightly for the red team. They'll probably crash harder for blue given the time. Talon is back from base, has Ignite. Ult will be up in about 25 to 30 seconds. Here we're going to have a trade for the top laners. Do a little bit of percentage damage. Malphite might be looking for an engage on somebody. No. So if I were blue team, you have to either commit really hard right now if you make a catch, or you take the tower. Good CC follow-up right here. Commit onto the Gnar. Very good. The Zillion ult was used on the Gnar. So actually an unsuccessful dive from there just because of the Zillion ult. We have a catch onto the Gnar, which he will go mega to negate all of that. It's a really hefty team fight. Master Yi's coming on in. He does have his ult pop. Let's see if he's able to get a reset. Pushes him right into the Zillion bomb. Knocked back from the Alistair into the kill on Talon. Brilliant. I highly doubt that that was intentional, but it definitely made for a good show. So we need 5 more stats for this Master Yi in order to get his sated. The Herald is up. If the red team is able to get this, then Master Yi will have a completed sated Devourer. However, it looks like they're going to go back. Just go regen, realizing that the blue team has already respawned. Don't want to risk any other team fights. Get too greedy now. Alright, now Master Yi does finally have his Rage Blade completed, meaning that he will be a good force to be reckoned with if he catches anybody out and is able to get a good 1v1 in. Ezreal just stacking up his Manamune right now. And now, let's see how these team fights really roll out around the objectives. If the red team is going to simply peel back and bide their time. Good CC to stop the Master Yi engage right there. Malphite does have his TP if they're able to position correctly. Mid lane is not here for red side. Let's see what they're able to do with this. Alright, so it looks like they're able to push Talon away. Talon did have to burn ult right here. If they're able to get this, that's Master Yi sated complete. There we go. We have a catch onto the Elise and a kill. Very nice. So the objective was picked up by the red team, a kill. Now this should be a mid lane push right here, considering that they have all of the people that they need for the tower. And looks like they have their ADC as well. This should be a mid tower for the red team, considering that the blue's not able to completely go in. Master Yi decides to ult, goes hard onto the Lutz, isn't able to pick it up, gets taken down. However, the Zilean ult is there for the recovery. Master Yi with the respawn and the double kill. Gonna pick this one up for a triple right there. Alpha for the completion. Tower and the flash forward from Talon. So really nice pick up there. Great utilization of the Zilean ult to position the Master Yi right there on the respawn to easily pick that up with some auto attacks. So great job from him. Gnar with the missed ult right there. Red team still being pretty aggressive, realizing they have the numbers advantage from the blue team. Poppy shoving bottom lane, making sure that the lanes are under control. And after this, I believe everybody should just group up. Somebody from the red team is probably going to go and try and catch top lane, make sure that they save that tower. Pink wards are up for the Zilean and for the Ezreal to make sure that if the Talon goes all in, that they're able to counter that. And let's take a look as far as for ward control. Doesn't look like a whole lot's on the map at the moment. We have one for the red there. So there's Gnar for the hold of the tower right there. We have standard warp there placed by Malphite. Zilean looks like he got all in right there from the Lutz. And, ooh, nice double stun. Ezreal is free from any harm right there. Good pickup on the ult from Ezreal. So we're really seeing huge things coming out of the Zilean ult. Which kind of comes back to if the red team could have survived the initial all-in from the blue team, then it looks like that they're obviously able to come back just fine. Make sure that everything's playing out well for them. So good job, good teamwork. Siege up the middle tower right here. Numbers advantage. No long-range clear poke from the blue team, so very good. Now we do have the Master Yi going in right here. We have a stun onto the Malphite. We have a reset from the Master Yi, hopefully able to get something in right here. Poppy's going for a knockup. And the pickup with the Poppy. Nice job. Now right here is where the red team might come into a little bit of trouble since the Lutz is back up, able to wave through that pretty successfully. And great damage onto the Talon over here from the Ezreal with the ult. Master Yi deciding to split push up top, realizing that pretty much nobody can 1v1 him. There is a chance that the Lutz with a full combo could potentially take him out. However, that is where he has the Alpha Strike completely negate all of the CC as he becomes intargetable. And Alistar holding this solo at the time. Red team has rotated. We have a knockup on the Gnar. However, the Alistar gets stunned up. Master Yi not able to get a reset. Talon comes all in, does take out the Master Yi for the blue team, and it looks like Zilean might be caught out right here. Is his ult up? It is actually. Stun, however, they should be able to pick this up pretty effortlessly. We have a stun onto the Elise. And I don't think that the Zilean's getting out of that one. Definitely not. So good trade back for the blue team. Able to prolong this a little bit longer. It's like bottom lane for the red team. Bottom lane being sieged up by the red team, so they will pick that up. Decent trade. And an ult just to make sure that the wave will favor them as far as for the minion damage. Will that be able to take it out? Actually, they might still have it shoved towards them since the cannon is still alive. So if you're blue team right now, you have to consider a couple of things. You have to consider, how can we make sure that we win this? Because you cannot focus the target that has the Zillion ult. However, you do need one of the carries to fall, whether it's with the Master E that you focus, whether it's with the Ezreal or the Zillion himself, and also just mining the Mega Gnar. However, the Zillion ult has been crushing the engage from the blue team. Excuse me. Alright, so good regroup from the red team right here, making sure that they're in prime position to counter the blue team if they were to try anything. Mastery is split pushing for the mid lane right now. Alright, blue team seeing if they can catch anybody out. Mastery is all the way on top side right now. Alright, blue team's in good position for a team fight right now if they decide to all in. Have to watch out for the Zillion ult though. Mastery's on the bat side right here. Let's see if we have an all in from the blue team. Good catch onto a Gnar right here. Don't think they're going to be able to nuke that Gnar though, as he does have some resistances already built up. Aggro from the Lutz onto the Dragon. Hopefully help him out with a little bit of poke damage. Looks like red team does want this. There they go, back off from the blue team. Anything coming in for a poke? Potential steal? No. So blue team is simply regrouping. Talon's going back right here. Hopefully doesn't get caught out from the popping. No good. And good rotations from both teams, sticking together, giving up things that are unnecessary to fight over. Alright, so this next team fight is probably going to happen at this tower. Let's see if the red team is able to siege this up. Doubtful just because Lutz is with the team at the moment. Do we have any split pushing coming in? Not at the moment, it seems. Mastery is going to be taking this red up. Ult burned by Easy. He is fairly low as far as for mana, so if they were to chase this, there's the chance that they would be able to chase them all the way down until Ezreal goes Both teams doing very well for their spacing, kiting, poking. Everything's playing out well. Clearing of the wards. Top lane looks like it will start favoring for the, actually for the red team. It looked like from the blue team for the minimap. Mastery is split from the team at the moment. Don't think he has too much to worry about though, since it looks like the blue buff is going to be this next contest. Actually, no, it's not. They're simply rotating bottom lane. They're able to get a quick shove onto this, then there's a chance that the blue team might be able to pick this up. However, it looks like red team's rotating around. Now, Mastery is not here. If the blue team were to commit onto this, this actually could favor them pretty good. But let's see what they're able to do with this. Good poke from the Lutz onto the team. Gnar is about to go Mega. Mastery is nowhere to be seen. Now Mastery might go and show topside right now, giving the blue team a little bit more confidence to commit onto the red team, but we'll see what actually plays out. And you can just tell how confident the red team feels, not fearing the engage. Oh, we have an all-in from the Mastery onto the Malphite, yet to knock up right here. I think that he's going to end up getting him though, going down. Good refresh for the Alpha Strike, drop the tower aggro, and top lane's going to go to Master E, hands down. Very good play, knowing how strong he is exactly, being able to all in that Malphite. Alright. So the other 4 players of the red team are going to be doing their own thing. Split pushing right here. We have Talon with an all-in, decides otherwise actually. With the all-in potential down from the Talon, I don't think that the blue team's going to be able to do much about this tower. Poppy takes some aggro right here. Tower is still alive. Have to watch out for that. Red team's trying to kill it. They have great CC and follow-up from the red team. Very good job. Nice combos there from the Gnar and the Poppy as well for the flash right there. And is that Q going to take out the Alistar? No. So great job on the split push pressure from the Master Yi. This team is doing exactly what they need to do. And let's see if they're able to get a clean closure from this game. Looks like Baron is what the red team is setting their sights on next. We do have a start of the Baron already. Okay. Jungler is down. Mastery does do tons of damage to this. This is probably going to go to the red team pretty uncontested. Alistar is coming in the area. However, if they're able to catch him out, then that might be just another dead cow. Have a slow from the top laner. Looks like he's wanting to chase this. He doesn't favor that. No, once the talent showed himself. Alright, so right here, let's see if the red team decides to go for a split push with the Master Yi or the Gnar, potentially both, and then have the rest of the team come on in with the teleport. And this Master Yi is going to hurt. Let's see what he has all in general. He has the MR from the Maw, knowing that he'll probably get very low, which will boost up his attacks damage, if I remember correctly. Which, yes, it does. It grants you additional attack speed, spell vamp, and life steal when let's see, any catches from the blue team, negative there. Here we have them splitting with the Master Yi up top, and the rest of the team is mid. Keeping the Gnar around just for the CC in case the team were to get onto them. Do we have an Alistar maybe going for an engage? Negative. Blue team has to get back and make sure that they get to the tower to make sure that they're not able to take that for free. However, Master Yi looks like he's doing tons of damage to it. He does. Still has his ult. He is shredding this solo. Pops his ult. Let's see if he's able to do anything for an all-in right here. Oh my god, this Master Yi is monstrous. And let's see if he's able to pick up this for a penta kill. There's the quad and the penta picked up. Master Yi reset, drops the tower aggro, and that will be game for the red team. So there you go. Negation of the all-in from the blue team. Making sure that the levels were good from the red. Positioning's very smart. And GG. So very well played from the red team. And we will be starting finals very shortly. So we will stand by until then, and I'll just put on a little bit of music just while we stand by. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back soon.
Your bubble gum, you're blowing bubbles till the taste is gone. You coming over for the night, just one night, one night, one night. To my love, under your tongue like it's your bubble gum. Just spit me out when it becomes more than fun. 'Cause I'm coming over for the night, just one night, one night, one night. pull you in close. It's a sweet and sour high when you promise not to try. You're the promise that I lie. We could drink the punch for this one last time, just one more last time. Shoot my love under your tongue like it's your bubble gum. You're blowing bubbles till the taste is gone. Are you coming over for the night? Just one night, one night, one night. Shoot my love under your tongue like it's your bubble gum. Just spit me out when it becomes more than fun. 'Cause I'm coming over for the night. Just one night, 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 one night,
a bit of problems. You leave up a Trundle, you take a Mundo, and then you have the counter pick to that immediately afterwards. We'll see how they work around that, but we will go to that. We have a Nasus coming from the purple team. Now, the Irelia versus Nasus. Nasus does need to scale up a good bit. Irelia will hit a spike a lot quicker than what the Nasus will. However, the reduction of attack speed does also counter the Irelia. We'll see how this is going to play out, though. Hopefully lots of pressure being given, or assistance, from the jungler for the purple side, allowing the Nasus to get enough stats. Still into the mid to late game. So you have yet to see any real wave clear from the blue side. Purple team does lack wave clear, however the Tristana will be able to get her explosive shot for the bounce as far as for the explosion, clearing multiple waves, so let's see. Blue team has their comp rounded out, so we have great wave clear and burst from the Victor coming in. We also have good AoE penetration into the back line as far as for if anybody from the purple team wants up at all. There could be a full burst from the Victor as well as with the hard engage from the Irelia. Now keep in mind the Irelia passive in teamfights will be able to negate the Nasus slow, considering that she is the one that is targeted for that. Same thing for the Thresh walls and the stun from the Xerath as well as his slow. We have yet to see if this will be taken to the mid lane though. Let's see what the purple team rounds out their comp with. Looks like we're going with the brand here. So, very interesting comp in the way that it flows for the purple team, in my opinion anyways. You have the top lane that's going to need to scale up with stats. You have the strong burst from the brand, considering that they're able to get the blue team in a massive AoE, which could potentially happen. However, as far as for the poke that will be coming out, you do have the Mundo on the front line. However, once the team fight actually gets fully engaged and everybody's going in 5 versus 5, the Trundle ult will more than likely come out for the Mundo, negating his stats there, and then hopefully he would be diving in and is able to be bursted out, since he will be lacking the stats necessary to tank up all the frontline damage. However, at the same time, if the purple team mispositions, there is lots of potential for catches and chase. So we'll see how everything plays out here. In terms of teleports, looks like top laner is pretty standard there. We have Knights coming out from both mid laners. We'll see how the jungle pressure plays out there. Mundo obviously has to get in a straight line for his cleavers, while Trundle simply has to make sure that he's in range for the pillar for a knockup and a slow. I would say, as far as objective control, this is where it becomes a little interesting, because you have the brand with the massive AoE, especially if he's able to get off a successful ult. You have the bots and the Trundle pillar in order to zone the blue team. However, if the blue team is able to get in proper position and knock out all of their damage, then that should take the purple team out. This Victor is going to be probably the main thing to watch from the blue team, see if he's able to nuke people correctly and successfully as far as for the range. It is a bit risky though, considering that the purple team is able to get onto him. We'll see how all that plays out. Potentially, it's big things from the Thresh huts. And let's put on a little bit of music while we wait for this to end for the champ. So let's delay.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Got 30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
All right. So lots of action been going on for both teams on both sides. So Victor has definitely come online as far as for his full burst for the combo. Brandon actually decided to go for a Rylai's Crystal Scepter to get in the slow there. And this Irelia has been doing massive work on the Nasus, able to trade with him very heavily and just chunk him greatly as far as that goes. Oh, and we have a duel for the ADCs over here. We have an ult and a knockback with the explosive charge for the Tristana. Looks like a heal was burned from the Ezreal as well. Good zoning of the Mundo over here. Mundo does have his flash still available if he decides to do so. Have a flash burn from the stun. Nas is able to slow him up over here. He might be going down though in the very end. He's going to be taking up some tower shots. Irelia decides that she doesn't want any piece of that. And a 1v1 from the Poppy right there after that fight from bottom lane. Definitely favoring the blue team there. Blue team without that Nasus ult, and also red team having the open inhib. Looks like they might be able to take this. Poppy's going to ult them away. A little bit deeper in their base. Seeing what they can do with this Trundle. Good pillar placement right there, just to make sure that they're zoned out. Victor going for the all-in right there. Let's see if he's able to pick that up with the ult. Very good. That was actually picked up from the Ignite. Now there should be an inhib, and they're also showing top lane right now. And here we have an all-in from Irelia. Nasus does not have his ult. He has the Wither, however. Let's see if they're able to pick this up with Q. There it is. So double inhib is going to be down for the red team as blue team looks to potentially wrap this up. Got some harassed coming in from the red side. However, all in right there with a red, I believe, for the pickup. If not, that was just an auto attack already pre-channeled on the jump right there. Blue team could potentially finish this out. Red team still has a little bit of time as far as for the death timers right here. Poppy decides to go on in. A little bit deep though, as there are still 2 of the base towers up. Moon decides to ult out of that one, and looks like that they will take a bit of the red team's base. So let's see if they decide to go end up with Baron for this, or if they decide to rotate bottom side and then just go for the non-contest on the Baron. So red team just clearing out bottom side right now. There are 2 people about to show for this though on bottom side. And that prompts the blue team to go immediately over towards Baron. This should go uncontested unless for some reason Trundle is going to be a hero right here. Get there just in time, flash immediately over and steal that. Decides otherwise. Actually, no, he definitely committed to that one. Pickup of the Baron, of the Trundle. I think all that's left to do now is just push on in. Tristana is bottom side, making sure that they're not going to be able to get that wave anytime soon. Victor says, I will go take care of that for us. And is making his way down there to start the push. Buffs up the minions, get a little bit movement speed, and also a little bit of damage increase. And Mundo says, you know, I go where I please. I think I'm going to go under this tier 2, or this base tower. And might have to pop his ult right here. The team isn't taking it quick enough, and with all the focus, they are able to actually pick it up. This looks like the final inhibitor will be going down. Irelia getting a full combo, however, pops the Starets right here. The brand is knocked up. Ezreal ult misses as the knockup makes him immune. However, Irelia dives in, kills the brand. Trade back from the brand onto the Irelia. Ezreal actually goes down in the same process. Tristana flashing forward, not going to be able to pick this up. Ooh, the ult and laser combo from the Victor is really showing right here. They're just able to pop carries, wave clear right here. Not just a matter of waiting for the minions to flow into the base and able to completely get this. Misplay from the Poppy as far as for the dive right here. However, that does prompt the blue team to get more damage onto the tower. There are no more towers for the red team. Let's see what they're able to do about this Trundle right here. Victor's putting out some decent damage, probably able to get him bursted. And there it goes. That should be game for the blue team. GG. So great teamwork from the blue side. Able to match a little bit better as far as for teleports. Make sure that the red team was kept down as far as for their scaling on the Nasus. So this is best of 3. We will be back for one more game for this one. We'll take in a small break right now, and we will see y'all shortly. All right, and I believe we're about to go in for this last, or potentially last game. Best of three. This is game 2 of 3. If the team with Shirley Elm, let's make sure that I'm not wrong here. Actually, I'm sorry. If the purple team over here is able to win this game in a 2-0 fashion, then this will be the last game of the night. However, if the team with Shirley Elm on the blue side is able to pick up a win, then we'll go to game 3. So let's see how team comps end up playing out. Alright, so we saw a pretty good Irelia coming in from Miramath. Let's see how the pits and bans go specifically. There will not be an Irelia ban. Polar Bear will be taken away from the top laner of the blue team. You have bad music. Get that out of here. There we are. Alrighty. And here comes the Irelia for the purple team. We have a Maokai and an Ezreal already locked in for blue team. So more than likely that Poppy will be in the bottom side again for the purple team, as we saw last game. We'll see if they are able to run the same team comp. There was nothing banned away from them that they ran last time. We definitely have a big change up for the blue team though. Oh god, too aggressive music. Calm that down. Alrighty. So we end up having a Fiora that will be versus the Irelia. We'll see how the trades end up going over top side. That would be very interesting. This Maokai is more than likely going to be taken into the jungle, considering that the Irelia comes out at the moment. So good lockdown CC for the blue team. We'll see what ends up playing out though in the very end. Victor, and there's an Amumu from the purple side. Okay, so good AoE.
And jumped out of bed and put on my best suit. Got in my car, raced like a jet.
So the team fight wombo combo, semi-wombo combo from the purple team, as far as for Amumu Q into the ult, will be a nasty follow-up with the Victor 4 combo, considering they're able to catch them. So blue team is solidified for their current roster. So in terms of team fights and everything, the lockdown will be decent as far as for the blue team, making sure that anybody that tries to infiltrate the backline for the Ezreal will be stopped with the Maokai and the Braum, hopefully getting off good CC with knock up and the stuns, and of course Maokai just rooting, knocking back, and then slowing with the saplings as well. The damage reduction will be very good as far as for the Amumu to follow up with the combo that will come out through there. Lucian fits this comp pretty good as far as for being able to do follow-up damage and clean up the fight, getting good damage off as far as for resets, dashing around people. And then we'll get right into this 3 minutes as far as for the spectator mode. there for the red team. No Q pulled off by the Amumu onto the LeBlanc, however. Able to pop the passive right here and already read the flash. That should be a kill for the blue team. Very good job there. Nice follow-up for the CC. A little bit preemptive flash, however, I'm not sure that it necessarily would have mattered. The Maokai does have insane CC. Mumu feeling pretty spiffy right here, able to burn off the flash for the Maokai. It's a good trade there. Maokai feeling a little bit paranoid for the Mumu right there, ends up throwing the sapling just to make sure that he's not waiting in the wings. And back from the Fiora from Shirty Elm top lane, able to pick up a Ruby and a Long Sword. Just help out the trade a little bit. And Poppy flashing her engage right there as far as for the little bit of additional stats. Maybe expecting an engage or a jump back to the Ezreal from the Braum, not necessarily sure. So good pressure by the junglers though early. Even though blue team was the only one to come up with the kill, still like that the Amumu was being a little bit more aggressive. Alright. So I'm curious to see how this Maokai is going to go about this bottom lane right here. It looks like a good engage from the red team. However, Maokai on the bat side right here should be able to get off this stun on the Poppy. There's the stun up. As soon as he flashes, if this Lucian's able to flash, he will pick up this kill. Uh-oh, good trade of damage right there. Ends up flashing very late. Probably not worth it there on the back end since there was almost no way that he was going to get out of there. So really good reaction from the Maokai, realizing the pressure. Good bait. And actually no summoner is burned there. Miramat feeling very strong right now. Going hard on the Shirty Elm with the resets and a little bit of damage trade. LeBlanc double distortion in full combo. However, T-Pizzo says if you want it, you can come get some. Uh-oh, and here we have a stun onto Poppy. Gonna have a flash in and one auto attack picks up the Poppy. Very nice. And there you're seeing the strength of the Braum stun coming in big. It looks like, from the minimap anyways, that the passive from the LeBlanc was popped. Miramat on there really ends up popping the ult just for a little bit of wave clear, able to let herself go back successfully without a contest from the Fiora. When we're coming around the side, we might see a gank onto mid lane. Both mid laners are sitting relatively close to half health. A little bit of scouting there from the Maokai with the sapling. So blue team is now starting to put themselves a little bit ahead as far as with the kills and the assists. See if they're going to start focusing on any of the objectives. I do feel that the AoE, if possible, from the Amumu and the Victor will favor the red team. However, that's considering they're able to do that successfully. And we'll also have to see how the teleports play out for the top laners. The Irelia teleport looks like it will be up about... Ooh, nice damage there from the Victor. That is definitely going to force LeBlanc to go back right now. Maybe giving a little bit of pressure over to the Dragon, but we'll see. We have a trade over here. Poppy is definitely going to be stunned up by that Braum. He is not level 6, unable to follow up on that. Gonna block the culling right there. Got another slow. They should be able to chase this out. However, not favoring that. The Victor Q, nice trade for both sides right there. Looks like he had to pop his barrier from the trade from LeBlanc. So even though she was down a good bit of health, she's still feeling very strong mid lane. Realizing that Victor still needs a little bit more time. Ooh, the Q dodge from the Maokai. However, he is not going to be able to follow up with much here. Looks like Poppy's in a little bit of a bad position right here. Ezreal is able to actually get out of that. Maybe Braum's going to follow up with the stun. If that is the case, nice trade there. Ezreal's Q does apply on hit, meaning that he was able to prop the last Braum Q and then follow up with that with Braum. Looks like we have a duel up top lane, the Grand Duelist, and then the person that deals a lot of true damage as well. Able to heal off a little bit more with the R right there. I don't know if you really want to be sticking around here for the Irelia. That looks a little bit risky. Here is a Mumu. Just says, I'm not even going to bother queuing you. Give you no reaction time, just press R. Good reaction there. However, bottom lane is trading back with a lot of pressure. Maokai looks like they might pass off the blue onto the LeBlanc. She is trading very well with the Victor. Just has to mind the jungler, of course. However, the Mumu ult will be down for the time being. And let's see how the junglers are able to set up their vision control. They both do have the stalk. Actually, is it still called stalkers? Trackers, excuse me. Meaning that they will be able to get wards in pretty consistently. Let's see if that's able to pay off more for which jungler. See who decides to be a little bit more bold, maybe put in a little bit deeper wards. We have a trade coming in. Victor throwing his AoE stun right on top of himself. Smart right there. Maokai blocking off the escape. Ooh, ends up following very deep. However, unsuccessful. Still gets the lockdown onto the Victor, and then full combo able to come in from the LeBlanc. So really good flash. However, you do follow on Maokai all the way to the tower if that is where the enemy happens to be going to, considering that you flash in the middle of that. Mumu looks like flashed and tried to Q in right there. Unsuccessful though. Good reaction from the LeBlanc. Waiting right around the corner though is Poppy. So red team realizing their advantage in the mid lane because LeBlanc is not going to be able to contest this, decide to rotate. Ezreal comes up for a little bit of damage. Are they going to commit completely to this? They more or less have to at the moment. Mumu ends up getting out right here. On the wrong side though of the team is going to be Poppy. I think Maokai's favoring this one a little bit. Dash away from the Lucian. It's a good job of both teams here. And let's see if blue team does start looking more towards this dragon. Looks like they fancy this one a little bit more. Have a sapling probably over the wall from the Maokai just to make sure that they zone. Actually just throw a ward. That works as well. Bottom lane pressure for the blue team is very good all the way to the tower, making sure that this Lucian will not be able to come up and contest this at all. Mumu doesn't even want to get a piece of that. Staying far deep in his jungle. This will be a free dragon for the blue team. Alright, sweep this out for Maokai, maybe throw a sapling over the wall. Hopefully he can get that other ward that was in the bush. Nope. It's alright. Blue trading for some towers. Fiora rotating as well. She does have teleport to go back to the top side. Not coming in, decent trade on damage there. Victor decides to trade back though, pretty successfully I would say. Now, will we see a dive top lane? I don't see that happening, considering that Fiora does have the alright, here we have an ult in from the Amumu, misses the Q, however, still tanking up the tower right here. Shorty going big right now. Get a flash. So ends up being a flash from the Irelia, unsuccessful gate for the red team. End up losing a big ult and also a very important summoner as well. The Irelia does have a bit of an advantage as far as for the health. However, Maokai is here saying, don't worry, I got you back. We can take this. Pops a Vital right there, able to sustain a little bit more, and Maokai should pick this one up with the Q if possible. Dash in with the Q, and Matt's range, very nice. Good rotations from the blue team. So up 2.8k at this point. Blue team is looking to take this to game 3, considering that they're able to successfully snowball. So good rotations on the team as far as for the jungler and everybody. Let's see how this ends up playing out in the very end. Farm for bottom lane is pretty even, minus the fact that blue team has 1 kill and 3 assists on both the ADC and the support. Let's just check the gold differential specifically. So actually a 1k gold deficit for the ADC and about 900 for the support there. Top lane is pretty much even, and the LeBlanc is about 600 up. So Poppy needs to watch her spacing here a little bit. There's a big wave here for the red team. Has to make sure to be mindful of that one. Shurdium thinks he's got this one in the bag right here. Flashes forward, gets stunned underneath the tower. One more for a reset there onto the Irelia. Very nice. Ezreal, can he land the Q for the stun? Ends up flashing away, realizing that he would have been stuck under tower. Decides to go for a full culling. Not going to be very successful. Gets knocked up. Here's the good rotation from the LeBlanc. Ends up picking up that one as well. Poppy says, excuse me, I don't want you over here. However, it's not going to do anything as Brahm's going to get the Q and then an auto attack finish from the LeBlanc. So good rotations from the blue team, realizing that there is no tower pressure there. Mid lane is taken down for the blue team by the Victor. However, he's not going to be able to do much more with that as he is alone, and the blue team could potentially come up from the jungle and collapse on him. Blue team being a little bit optimistic here, trying to go for a tier 2 tower. Victor is in the area. Don't think that he could 100% burst them down. Actually, Miramac favoring this one pretty heavily. All that Victor needs to do is get in range for an R and maybe a laser right here. Not wanting to risk it though, decides to save that. Realizes he could save some summoner spells. Braum ends up going down here. Good combo from the Amumu. Amumu, don't think he's going to be able to follow up with another Q right here, though. He's underneath the tower. Ends up favoring it. Goes in all the way. Let's see if Irelia is going to be able to pull up with this one. Q from Victor. Nice rotation from the red team. However, LeBlanc is in the area. Ooh, is not able to pick up anything right here. Let's see if an auto attack comes into play right here. And burst it down. Nice rotation. However, it looks like the Ignite was dropped on the Amumu, as you can tell that the Summoner spell was burned. So one still picked up from the blue team. However, the red team is not out of this just yet. Aggro picked up on Lucian. You gotta get out of there, buddy. Don't be taking the tower. Good rotations. No objectives are up at the moment. Rift Herald is available. Let's see if any teams decide to go for that objective. And so the gold lead brought down to about 1.3k in favor of the blue team still. However, much needed kills given over to the carry on the Victor. Lucian still unfortunately not able to get a whole lot of this. Looks like Shirley Elm not bad. Gonna be able to Q over the wall. Good timing. Being smart on holding the Q. Make sure that it's not negated by the Poppy shield. Let's take a look at any power spikes coming in. Good harass from LeBlanc. No other distortion follow up on that one though. Matt's range and Ezreal ult misses as well. Barely gets away from that one. However, this tower will definitely go over to the blue team. Red team, no place to respond to this. Let's see if we have an engage here. Mumu being a little bit too optimistic for his spacing right there. Ends up getting a reset and the heal from the Fiora. That's a double. This should be another tier 2 tower. Poppy ends up knocking back the Brahma. I don't think that that's going to matter too much though. Ezreal says, hey, I think I got this, guys. We can chase him forever with my Frozen Fist. Or Iceborne Gauntlet if you want to be more specific. So here goes down the tier 2 tower. You have to be careful with that Maokai. His CC is really good as far as for tower diving, dropping aggro onto towers with his W. Make sure that he gets in on somebody and it makes him untargetable. The bomb just hanging around the area. Full burst at the Poppy. Very nice. It looks like that will be the Dragon pickup for the blue team as well. So tier 1, tier 2 tower, 2 kills, actually 3 kills on the Poppy, and a Dragon pickup for the blue team. And after all of that, looks like the blue team is now up to a 5k gold lead. See what they're able to do with this. So big wave coming to the blue team side. Somebody will probably have to respond to that one. Rift Herald is still going to be on the map for more or less about 45 seconds. Blue picked up by the Maokai. Feeling that he needed that a little bit more. Maybe the LeBlanc ended up still having a blue. Actually, no. Okay. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. Don't know for sure. So the blue team definitely has it in their favor as far as for slows, peeling back, just kiting the red team out pretty heavily. Ward drop down. Maokai's not going to be able to pick that up. Attack speed does not favor him that much. A little bit deeper wards coming through for the blue team. It looks like they do want to get this Herald. They have about 10 seconds in order to burst it down completely. Shurdiam a little bit in a bad spot here. Braum ends up putting himself pretty aggressively up front. Here comes the AoE. And it looks like that the blue team done clean that one up. Mirror match in the middle right there. We have the ult pop from Shurdiam. Block on the Fiora pop in right there. Victor's in the backline just putting out tons of damage over here. Red team actually is going to pop away with this. Return trade on the Irelia though from the Fiora. And Ezreal has to distortion out, or we have the Maokai coming in right there and the pickup. Ezreal thinks he's gonna want to go in for this one, ends up not having enough damage. Lucian's got to be careful as well for his positioning right here. Think this might be a pickup for the Irelia. Not back from the Poppy, missed, and a long range Q. Ult coming in from the Ezreal in the exact opposite direction. Think he probably swung that 360 no scope. We're not on the PlayStation or Xbox 360 over here. We're playing League of Legends. Poppy's still running around. Alright, let's see if she's actually able to get out. She's definitely dead. So that was a really good turnaround. It looked like blue team was definitely on the backside of that whole team fight. However, once the Maokai decided to go more aggressive onto the Victor, been able to penetrate through that back line, caught him out by himself. The Fuhrer was able to pick that one up. So blue team still pulling slowly, further and further ahead, up by 6.2k at the moment. See what type of items are done. We do have the locket completed for the Maokai. We also have the Abyssal Scepter for the LeBlanc on the blue team, meaning that this Victor's burst is not going to be as hard as it typically is. Also have an Abyssal Scepter for the Amumu as well, so that he's able to do a little bit extra damage. He does do percentage damage and is typically built straight tank. However, the Abyssal, still a pretty gold efficient item since he's always sitting on top of people. For the top laners, we have the first damage item spike. Ghostblade actually completed by the Fiora as well. Still waiting to see what the Irelia is doing. Has a double ruby crystal. Poppy's in a little bit of an odd spot here. Gonna get probably stunned, chain CC'd, and the Q Braum proc passive picked up with the Ezreal Q. They look to be sieging this tower. Ezreal decides to ult in, just did a little bit of damage, only ends up hitting the Amumu. Not going to be able to siege this one up just yet. We might see a potential dive as it is 4v5, but we'll see if the blue team ends up favoring that one or not. Turns out that they just want to give the red team a little bit of the rotation game. Red team top lane is pushing pretty heavily to the tower. Let's see if the Fiora will respond to that. Looks like she's going top side right now. Mid lane still being pushed pretty hard. They do not know that this LeBlanc is here. Gets the chain right there. Not going to end up going completely in their favor. And it looks like she will be picked up. It's a nice reaction from the Poppy right there, as well as from the Lucian. He doesn't burn his flash for that one, or a heal. Trusting in his team pretty heavily there. Good communication. And Ezreal ult top side. This one will be actually intended this time compared to the last team fight. Alright, so in terms of farm, looks like blue team is winning top side, and for the ADC, the Victor is out farming the LeBlanc slightly though. And we have to be careful for this Maokai dive right here. Ends up having a slow on the back end right here. The Amumu is coming around the side. They will probably end up going for this dive. And have a flash in. Poppy, don't you dare knock them away. And they're definitely going ham on this one. Red team ends up getting the shutdown on the Fiora. However, pit back up for the blue team right here. Mirror match is still under this tower right here. We have the chain land from the LeBlanc picked up there. Full combo out from the Victor. Let's see how Lucian's doing on this back end. He does have the stun locked on him. We have a distortion come in. Full combo chain. The Ignite is going to tick, and Lucian actually ends up picking up a double on that one, with Ezreal also cleaning up for the Lucian on the back end there. So 4 for 4. Overall, with the red team being down, I would probably say that that was a little bit better for them in the end, considering that they also did that underneath the tower. Ezreal's making his way down to the bottom side, potentially going to pick up this dragon all by himself. We'll see if that's what ends up happening. There's the aggression on the dragon. Victor shoving up top. There is no teleport from Fiora to match to take this if they do decide to stick around for that. Looks like that this top tower is going to fall for the blue team. Ult coming out. Give them some vision. Good straight line right there. Just pop back over the wall. Free dragon and free top tower. Considering that you don't consider the other 4 kills from both sides of teams, but to each their own. Scuttle Crab going to be picked up. Fun fact, Scuttle Crab is a girl, just if you reference to him as a him. Is indeed a her. Same thing with Retsai. It is a her. Alright, blue team up by 4.5k at the moment. Let's see if they end up deciding to go for the dragon. Looks like Victor is not with the team right now. If that information gets across to the blue team, maybe we'll see a very aggressive play. Maokai does have a flash in order to go very deep into the team if he so desires. Ezreal also able to kite back very well, has his flash up as well as his blink. Ult to clear the wave right here. Victor is still not with the team. I'm thinking that we're probably going to see a flash. Very hard engage from this Maokai right here, considering they're able to get onto one of the carries. They're going deep onto the Irelia. Irelia is just melted right here. That is going to be a free tower, hands down. Victor's in a little bit of an odd situation. Braum gets a 3-man knocked-up. Maokai says, I can take this all day. Braum has the aggro now from the Maokai W being burned. Got a stun onto Poppy. And this fight overall looks like it's going to go to the blue team, potentially going to end this game on this push. That is a clean ace. 5 for 0. Very smart as far as for engaging. Deciding to go in when somebody on the opposite team showed that they were not there with the rest of them. So well played, and it looks like we are going to go to the 3rd game for this tournament, for the finals. Considering that the blue team's able to end it right here. Alright, backing out for right now. Make sure that they get back in time. We have a TPM from the Irelia. Not sure she's going to favor going into 4 people. Also got some super minions off on the side right here. Ends up having a flash shot right there. LeBlanc says, give me a piece of that. No, thank you. I've changed my mind. And blue team just kiting away. And I really think that she wants to go for a 1v1 with the Baron. Ends up getting taken down to several hundred health. Hopefully she doesn't get taken out right here. We have a teleport coming in from the blue team right here. Gonna actually cancel that. Realizing the risk right here, and Merrimack might go down. Ezreal ult was successfully hit. They're not burning down this Baron fast enough. The LeBlanc's on the back end. It's a double Q onto the Victor. He's completely taken out of the fight. I think that this is going to be the blue team cleaning up this. They don't even need the Baron. They can just go on in. Still secured it though with the Maokai. Lucian ends up not getting out of there. Full props from the Braum passive. Blue team's just going to move on in and then finish this game out. Very good job. Interesting rotations as far as for the roster for this game. However, it looks like it ended up paying off very well for them. Still letting the Irelia through and just shifting Shirley to the top lane from the jungle. So well played, blue team. And we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes for game 3.
think I was embarrassing with them, wasn't I? Does that mean you didn't really like the champagne? No, I did. Too much.
On the silver screen, she's always playing make-believe, and she's got emerald eyes that let me know just what she needs. It's hard to show exactly what she means to me, and I'll give my world. A girl like that don't come for free. Oh, darling, won't you believe me? I'll love you till the record stops. The record stops. Oh, darling, won't you believe me? I'll love you till the record stops. The record stops. Oh, darling, darling, on the silver screen, the brightest star I've ever seen. She takes me to a better place. She dances like I can't believe. It's hard to show that every day feels like a dream. But I'll give
Alright, so that is a Gnar locked in. We do have the Maokai and the Morgana. Morgana, we'll see if that ends up going bottom lane or if that ends up being in a lane. The Maokai is potentially a flex pick, however, it's more than likely going to go into the jungle again, as we saw that last game. We actually have a Wukong and a Gnar coming out, okay. So far as for the hard CC for the front line, the purple team definitely has a little bit of an edge there considering Gnar is in Mega. Have a knock up, a knock into the wall for the stun, slow on the Gnar Q, and then of course the stun on his W, I believe it was. Corki picked up for the mid lane, potentially for the blue team. That is already locked in. So the Morgana would definitely be a support. So for the most part, it would seem that there's a Renekton top, Maokai jungle, a Corki mid, potentially Ezreal though, and then Morgana will definitely be on that supportive role. Let's see how the purple team ends up finishing out their team comp here. Wanting to save the mid for last. Going for Malzahar, okay. And there's potentially good or bad to this. We'll see what they end up deciding to lock in. Alright, so it looks like the team comps have been solidified as far as for what we have going on. So it appears that we have standard bot lane, as I had said before. Top lane for the Gnar. The Wukong is actually going to be taken into the jungle and a mid Ahri. So good mobility and wave clear as far as for the Ahri. Gnar is going to have Q as far as for poke. You could potentially say that the purple team has a bit of catch, but also same thing for the blue. If you happen to land a Morgana binding onto anybody on the opposite team, more than likely they will get shredded. The only exception that was potentially the Gnar, considering that he's in Mega form. And maybe the Wukong if he's able to get off his ulti and then just spin away. However, for the CC, we do see the Corki gonna take the cleanse, which actually isn't too bad of an idea considering that you have the slow from a Gnar. The knockup cannot be cleansed, obviously, since it's a harder CC, one of the only things that you actually cannot get rid of. The Ahri charm, though, as well as the Poppy stun. Now, for the blue team, team fights are going to be pretty hectic here. The thing that does benefit the blue team is all of the AoE that would come out from the purple team, considering Maokai is going to be able to stay on top of the carries, should be able to keep them safe enough with the damage reduction and his peel so that they are able to kite back efficiently enough for them to finish off any of the people diving in. But we'll see how that ends up playing around. The Morgana shield as well should help to negate any super hard CC or any that comes through from the purple side. Now, in terms of kill potential, there is a Poppy once more with the Ignite. Actually, there's two Ignites. There's not going to be a single exhaust, meaning that should Corki or Renekton, anybody jump all the way in, nobody is going to be safe as far as for damage reduction. We'll see how teams end up fighting around their strengths. Could probably expect some pretty brutal objective fights as far as for TPs from the Gnar. And the Renekton as well. We have to keep in mind that in order for the Gnar to stop the Renekton teleport, though, he 100% has to be in Mega form, since he doesn't have any hard CC outside of that. Renekton, however, can always just simply dash into the Gnar and stun him, and then follow up with the teleport himself if he so desires. Alright, last call if you need to go to the restroom briefly, get a drink, and grab yourself a snack before we get into this final game. Make sure you have yourself a comfy seat. Don't use one of those cheap kitchen chairs, the ones with, the hardwood. I've sat on those for prolonged periods of time. It definitely hurts you. I would advise otherwise. Alright. The teams are on the rift. Let's see if we have any invades early on. The only thing for the blue team as far as an invade for CC is the Morgana into a Renekton Q if he so desires. Also, you have a Maokai Q, which is slow unless he's right on top of you, which it was a slight nutback slash displacement. On the red team, there is no CC minus the early RE charm. However, doesn't like anybody's favoring much over here. Morgana throws out a Q, Ezreal throws out a Q as well. Nothing big on both ends. Alright.
Minions have spawned.
And in terms of lanes, let's see. Shirley Elm still is going to be in top lane for this match. We have SRV down in the bottom lane. Corky is definitely going to be mid lane. And we're actually starting to blue from the Maokai. I do agree with this. I've been doing a little bit of Maokai myself recently, and he's definitely very blue dependent. If you start anywhere else, you're probably going to take a while in order to finish your jungle, and you will go before you make a full clear. In the jungle down there, and alright, looks like we got everybody sorted out for our lanes now. Lucian putting up a little bit close. Had some poke and a Thunderlords popped onto him as far as damage trading. Has to very much mind his spacing for the Morgana as far as for the Q. Got a little bit of health return on the Gnar for Miramat there. Now Renekton definitely trades a lot harder as far as for if he's able to get off his stun onto the Gnar. However, Gnar should do a fine job of kiting with his Q and also with his jump away. Corky's gonna get a little bit of damage there. It looked like I already got a little bit minion blocked. Good stun into the wall from the Poppy right there. Probably a little bit late on that shield from the Morgana. Nice poke, Corky. Into the RE, very deep under the tower. I don't know whose champs are where. Ooh, and it looked like we had the Maokai invading on the Wukong over there. Nice trade of damage. Looks like the Gnar is gonna get the third proc over there. So it looks like that the Wukong had to flash out of his own red buff. We might have a chase from the Gnar onto the Renekton. Pops him with the Q, doesn't get a third prot though in order to solidify the kill. So good burn of the summoner spells. Wukong's not going to be able to finish the red buff. Pulled it out a little bit too far. The aggro was reset as far as for the new patient system, which is definitely confusing to me as far as for why minions will chase you for 10 million years, but then reset as soon as you turn around because you ended up actually moving too far. Maokai looks like he himself is going to give this red buff a go. I do not think that the Wukong will be able to respond correctly. However, he is notified that Gnar is potentially on the way, and there he is. I do not think Maokai is going to make it out of this one. Gnar is maybe going to flash over the wall with him. No. So Gnar solo has gotten a flash from the Renekton and has now gotten a flash from the Maokai. Maokai is probably just unaware that the enemy team had warded up for them in the red buff and allowing him to be in there. There's the good trade from the Renekton, being very aggressive, realizing that Gnar is in mini form. This could be very bad for the Gnar. Good trade and damage as far as for both mid laners there. Doesn't look like anybody's gonna go down just yet. You have to mind your spacing there for the Ari Qs. She does have sustain with her Q on the back end. Just like Shirley going big right there, and the Morgana gets stunned up at night. It's ticking, ends up getting first blood. Very use of that. Wukong decides that he doesn't like the big crocodile. He's had enough of them eating his family whenever he goes into the watering hole, and the edge end up just popping out there. Decides to get one picked up for his team. So good start for the red team so far, getting flashes burned and kills. Bottom lane and also up top. Only person not getting a piece of this action is Arya. However, blue team is keeping up with their farm a decent amount for mid lane. Bottom lane's at a slight deficit, and top lane is pretty much neck and neck also. Now Corki, because of the change for the new season, is able to still build pretty standard with his Trinity Force into pretty much full damage, since his passive now enables him to do half magic, half physical damage. However, his attacks do 110% of their standard, if I believe I've understood the passive that he has correctly. However, with this change, he is definitely able to act as a mid laner and a primary magic source, so the team isn't left without a carry for that mid lane. So he starts off with the Sheen. That'll be really good for his trades. Corki is very much a AD caster, similar to Ezreal as far as for spamming spells. Not really 100% reliant on the auto attacks. It's more about the auto attack reset compared to just flat out attack speed. Top lane, we got a big trade here. Looks like Shirley's gonna be just fine. Didn't need to burn a flash or anything like that. Nara still has his flash as well. We're going big into the minions there. Maokai. Unsuccessful on the gate there. Nara's just gonna double hop away. And a little bit of trade for damage down there. Ezreal actually going into the team right there. Ooh, nice spell shield from the Morgana. Ends up missing the Q, however. But that was still really sweet to burn the flash from the Poppy and have an unsuccessful stun into the wall right there. Poppy's still feeling a little bit frisky though, probably going to come up a little bit more. It's a return as far as for the relic shit. Wukong decides that he wants a piece of this. Ends up just getting a blink away from the Ezreal right there. Ezreal is level 6 if he decides to ult this next wave and decide to go back. However, Lucian can return the favor with the call-in since it does enhance damage to the minions. Maokai picks up the blue for himself. Threads the Q through to the Lucian there. So farm's starting to favor the red team for this bottom side. Corky's still out farming the Ari at a decent amount, and on the blue side, looks like Renekton slowly starting to pull ahead from the Gnar over here. Ezreal ult was just burned right there. Poppy's still in a fine position in terms of HP. Now, given that build pass, Poppy should definitely be a bit more of a frontline for the tank as far as for the red side, since she goes more for the relic shield and then can just build straight damage, or not damage, defensive items. However, the Morgana will be able to be a better force as far as nuking people. So Maokai ends up going in here, gets some good damage off, not able to completely nuke the Poppy, however gets the Q. That is a really long time on that. Ends up finishing her off with the R. Looks like Lucian's trying to kite. However, Corky is in the area. He probably just come on in with a Q. Actually ends up diving right in, ends up propping Thunderlords, and that was an easy pickup for the blue team. So nice trade there. We do have a teleport coming down from the Gnar. However, the stun does go through, and Gnar is furious. Ends up trading back massive damage onto this Renekton. Ends up getting propped in mini form. Potentially is going to be able to chase him down. Gonna get third prop right here. I think that he wants a piece of it underneath the tower, gets the stun off, and is able to finish that off. Very nicely done for the trade. Got a little bit greedy there from the Gnar, however, it was a valid attempt. I could definitely see where the dive was very much wanted. So good save from the blue team though, able to stop the teleport and pick up a kill. Alright, let's see. Blue team has etched out a very slight lead of 0.3k at the moment. That is more from the CS lead than anything else in top and mid lane. Bottom lane still a slight deficit there, however, trading back pretty efficiently. Already has the tier stacking on up. Corky now does have the Phage as well, meaning that he will get the enhanced movement speed. Renekton going, it appears more for the Titanic for top lane. Help him out in terms of tanky stats, but then also for his nuke. And by nuke, his ratios are very high. So if you are able to get off a stun with Furiosity, or Furosity, however I'm supposed to pronounce it, it will actually chunk people a good amount considering that they are a big carry. So Corky pushing up a little bit aggressively for mid lane, ends up propping Thunderlord for bottom lane. Ezreal thinks that he wants to go big right here. Let's see if Morgana can land the Q, ends up getting the pop onto the Poppy right here. She's not going to be able to do much as far as following up for CC. Maokai is in the area for the blue team. Ends up popping the ult on the Ezreal. Corky goes very deep right now, not able to get much. Gets the full stun right there. Ends up popping the Corky underneath the tower. Got a little bit too greedy there, I feel. The cleanse was used very wisely, however his escape was completely burned at that point. Wukong ends up trading a little bit of damage right there. Getting a little bit of poke onto the Maokai as well. Don't think that the red team is going to be able to do a whole lot to this Maokai underneath the tower. I could be totally wrong though. Ends up just going for a little bit of damage trade right here. End up turning that, and actually traps the Wukong underneath the tower. Gotta watch out there. Wukong does not have any mana to do anything. Pops a Q, and Maokai actually is not very sportsmanlike. Doesn't reward Renekton for coming on down from the top side. It's alright though. Good play though. Alright, Gnar is Mega. They'll probably just let the shovel up. He actually goes for a trade onto the Gnar while in Mega form. Holding his farm a little bit away from his tower so as to not take that too much. Make sure that he's able to stall out the lane a little bit longer. Top lane is up about 30 CS. Middle lane is up roughly 40. Going for a trade, gets the stun actually, decides to go very deep. Now Nar on the offensive side, going for this chase right here. Think he's probably going to be able to catch it up right there. Just third proc and the kill for Miramac. Very nicely done. You still have to respect the Gnar even on the back end of that with his mini form. Yes, you can burst him out very heavily. However, if you leave yourself with no escapes, he can chase you down very hard. Maokai thinks that he can take him though. Goes for a little bit of aggression here. Gnar will be in mega, decides to pop his way out of that one. And that will be the end of that trade. Corky did good damage off for the Q. T-Pizzo pops a pot right there. Ooh, nice flash in, not blink. And the Q poke. These teams are less than 500 gold apart at this point. This should turn out to be a very fun match as we roll around to the objectives for the team fights as far as for Rift Herald as well as the Dragon. 15 minutes on the clock right now, 4-4. Ezreal has finished his Iceborne. That would definitely help out with the kiting as far as for the Gnar. Looks like Wukong is caught out right here. Let's see if Corky decides to go offensive right now. Doesn't appear so. Maokai has about 20% mana. You have to mine that very heavily, especially early on. You feel that you're really strong and then you end up popping your ulti and not being able to do a whole lot. No flash on the Wukong at the moment. The Maokai does have a flash if he decides that he wants to go in. I'm curious to see if we will have any plays where the Ahri will be cutting backwards and end up getting caught. We have Wukong going in right here. No play made as far as that goes. Good rotation from the blue side, end up picking up Wukong as he is a little bit greedy right there, and it appears that that will probably be the end of that team fight. Wave clear from the red side, and that engage is over. It's a little bit optimistic there from the Wukong. Team didn't completely have his back and he went a little bit deep into the blue side jungle, which allowed the blue team bottom lane to rotate up and pick him off. The Gnar is about to go mega. Poppy's feeling that she can knock people away and have it in their favor. Poppy's off by herself right now, gonna get dropped. Gnar is off on the Corky right now. Let's see if he's able to pick that up. He does. However, not much else is going to be done as far as for the Dragon. Blue team picks that one up. Renekton ends up falling to the Ahri. Gnar is still mega. He's about to go mini right now. Ends up getting the proc. No, he does not. However, Lucian's on the front side of this one. Feels that he can duel this Ezreal. Let's see if Ezreal's able to put any good moves on him. Flash in from the Wukong for a double. And the Q proc onto the Morgana. Like I said, messy but fun team fights. And so red team actually comes out with the ace on that one. This should be a tower pickup considering that the wave is able to stick around long enough. However, the blue team might be able to salvage this tower. Salvage. The wave is coming to crash in. Somebody's gonna tank a shot right now. It ends up being Lucian. Ahri has to end up burning a ult right there. Corky's damage output from the Trinity Force is ridiculous. Massive spike there, especially once he starts getting the rockets out as well on his R. Now, blue team just needs to be mindful of when and how they're picking their engages. The Maokai is able to peel very well for the backline. However, they just need to make sure that the backline is still able to put out a decent amount of damage here. And they're about to go mega right here. Ends up getting a decent damage trade. And I think that this is a bit more fun of a matchup right here. We're seeing when the Renekton has to go in onto this Gnar, and then Gnar feeling strong enough where he's able to trade back to the Renekton. However, you still have to give respect on both ends to the other. Spooky Ghost Star out for the Morgana, scouting out. Nothing's going to be found on that end. Ahri's going to get a good chunk of damage down onto the Maokai right here. Pink will survive for a little bit longer, it seems. Corky's around the back end right there. Gets a little bit of pokons at that. Don't think that Ari's going to want to go in on the Corky with the Maokai in the general area. Let's see if Maokai's favoring a dive for bottom lane. Doesn't appear so. Dragon was taken a little bit ago, so that won't be up for several more minutes. And red team up 2.3k at the moment. Top lane is still ahead in farm, mid lane is still ahead in farm for the blue team. However, red team is still steady with holding the lead for bottom side. Good poke from the Rockets onto the Ari, and looks like Poppy's in a very bad position right here. Caught herself all alone. Nice roam up from the blue side right here. This should probably be a mid tower going down unless the red team is able to rotate correctly. However, I'm not sure if they're going to have enough CC or damage in order to keep the blue team off of this one. Wukong decides that he wants Peace Not Morgana, ends up actually using his clone very, very well in order to not take the binding. And that is pretty much a free mid tower for the blue side. Good rotations around. Ends up pulling the gold about 1k. Depending on how the blue team decides to react to this one, if they end up sticking to the blue buff, if red team completely commits to this, then there should be a trade of the towers and end up being an even trade. Renekton is deciding to go top lane right now. Blue team, red team completely as 5 is going up top. Ari actually ends up staying mid right now. No commitment to the top lane. Let's see if the ADC ends up going with them though. No, looks like everybody's just going to back off right now. Clearing up some wards for the red team. Deny the blue team their pink. Black Cleaver was built up by the Gnar, so there won't be any insane kiting from a frozen mallet. Any sort of MR items though for the red side, it doesn't appear so, with the exception of the one Merc Treads, which is more for the CC reduction, not necessarily as a magic resistance item. Hopefully the red team acknowledges the amounts of magic damage that the blue side has and ends up going for a locket at some point. However, considering that the item is not built until a lot later since it is a flat amount, once the blue side is able to get some penetration in, that the AoE as far as for the buff is going to be negated. And Maokai getting traded on over here. The AoE damage reduction is not very good onto the Ari. Ends up flashing on in. Renekton decides that he can handle this. Wants a piece of that. Wukong gets slowed right here. I think Ezreal can finish that off with the Q. Very nice. And Gnar ends up coming in, has to jump away. There's no tower there anymore. He has to be very cautious with this. Decides that he's actually going to go in on this. Poppy's going to try and take out the Maokai right now. He has the AoE. Look at that. Gnar's doing massive work right here. Almost wins that fight single-handedly with that stun into the wall. However, blue team just had a little bit too much in their favor there. Not able to completely clean that up. So this should be a tier 2 tower for the mid for the blue team. Good pickup right here. Let's see if there's going to be any rotations over for this dragon now. There are slight wards down for the blue team, however nothing deep in order to scout out if the red team is reacting. Looks like that they are going to start it up. Think that they can burst it down quick enough. Wukong is in the general area. He does have smite as far as for this. He's trying to burst it down as quickly as he can. He ends up smiting it, using his ult and sacrificing himself in the process. However, he does deny the blue team the dragon. Arguable if that was worth it or not. However, it does prolong the spike, considering that there will definitely be no 5th dragon unless for some reason this game goes on like for an hour or so. Moving over towards top side. All right, so blue team having strong rotations as 4 right now. Ezreal is bottom side right there, potentially just wave clear, and this will definitely go down for the blue team. Just commit to it. There we go. All right. So despite how the blue team has been winning these fights pretty solidly, the gold differential between the two is a little bit over 1k, about 1.5k in favor of the blue side. Wukong gonna pick up this red right now. And looks like the packages are standing by in the base. Corky hasn't picked one up yet to my knowledge, unless there's something that I missed. They might want to try and start focusing for that, as far as for splitting the red team. And then again, it is a high risk, high reward as far as for the split and the range that you're able to get. Wukong is topside, definitely hurting the red team as far as for the CC that they're able to contribute. Ari decides to actually ult and get the Morgana. Maokai follows very deep, however the Corky burst is too much. Merrimack about to have Mega Gnar right now into the wall. Maokai does not get the stun. I'm sorry, Gnar does not get the stun into the wall. Maokai is knocked back right there. And blue team pushing up pretty aggressively. Poppy is pretty low at the moment. It's like Wukong was able to get the tower top side. Meanwhile, however, bottom side was pushing with a big wave and picks that one up. So it is 5 towers to 3 in favor of the blue team. Blue team's also going to find themselves a sweet blue buff that goes over to the mid laner Corky, and they will get out of the jungle for free. Looks like the blue team was starting to ping over towards the Baron. They're feeling that they're strong enough and better in the closed areas in order to pick that up. Have lots of pings from the blue team as far as for mid. We have an ult from Ezreal trying to help clear the wave right there. Also pings on the tier 2 from the blues team. See if they start making their way top side. Looks like the bottom side is not going to be that big of a contest as far as for minions. Depending on how many people show, let's see if they actually do have a rotation. It looks like they are having a big rotation. They have vision of the enemy bottom lane over on the bottom side right there, and they decide that they want this Baron right now. Gnar does ward that up. Morgana's taking a bit of damage right there. Goes down to half HP. The binding is going to deny that though. Ezreal ult is out. Misses, however. Let's see if we have a regroup at the tier 2 tower for the blue team. However, blue team is slightly on the bad side right here. Wukong decides to go in very big right here. However, Corky right through every single person on the red team gets annihilated. Wukong picks up the kill onto the Morgana right here. The Wukong is able to also get out of here. Ooh, blink over the wall is able to pick up Wukong. The flash and the Gnar from Gnar onto Ezreal. I think he might be able to kite this out. Never mind. Ari said, I want a piece of this. Flashes over the wall, Qs, and gets the kill. So great return there from the red team. Corky package a little bit too aggressive into the rest of the team. However, I could definitely see what the goal was there. And here comes Shirley Elm being really aggressive all by himself here. Doesn't show much fear though. He's a big croc. And after that, we are 1 kill differential. Towers have not changed though. 1 dragon to 1 dragon. If my time is correctly, the next dragon should be up fairly soon, so teams should start getting ready for that as an objective, or potentially trade that for a Baron if they so desire. Red team does have a really big wave that will favor them. Corky is here to clear that though. Poppy's in a little bit of an odd position right here. He's probably going to be caught out. Ends up getting the Corky very far away. potentially should be able to run away. However, the Morgana is being very aggressive, and it doesn't look like that anything's gonna come off of that. So ult for Morgana, ult for Poppy. Maokai ends up getting some CC onto the Wukong right here. Poppy's in a bit of a bad position. Wukong ult is going to melt the Morgana right here. Wukong ult is still going through the team. Maokai was trying to kite the Wukong. Lucian ends up picking up Corki right there on the front end. Red team is continuously chasing. Ezreal ult does not go through, and that looks like it is a 4-for-0 in favor of the red team. Renekton is shoving mid lane, however, there is a tower there. He will not be able to get an inhib anytime soon. Tier 2 tower looks like it is the focus for the red team, and then potentially trading around to go and get the dragon. Lucian should be able to pick this one up on his own as soon as the next wave crashes. He has about 20 seconds for everybody. Morgana will be coming from the base right now to come and help clear that. It probably won't fall once he actually sees her. He decides to peel off right now. Renekton is up in the top lane jungle. Alright, so red team comes out and ends up tying up the lead. Is actually ahead by point. Well, we could just call it 200 gold at the moment. And ends up solidifying Dragon 2 for themselves. Now they have to be cautious though, because blue team still does have a very strong team fight. So they definitely can't consider themselves being very much ahead, as they're pretty much dead even at this point. Also, blue team is winning in terms of towers right now, so considering things would go bad for the red side, the blue team could potentially have their minions shoving correctly and rotate over to a crash into the base towers and end up taking an inhibitor very soon. Now let's take a look overall towards the Baron side, as that will probably be the next focus. There is a ward down to notice that Lucian is over at the red side. He's actually just fine. Poppy's up very far by herself though. Gonna get bursted out here, not gonna be able to do anything. The REQ comes across, chunks some people. However, Poppy positioning a little bit away from her team. Nobody's able to back her up on that one. Now Ezreal is showing up mid. I would say managing the waves correctly and able to make sure that they're gonna be able to get an inhibitor very soon. Good clear. Now the red team should not be fighting right now. Miramac is not mega right now. He gets jumped to half. The Wukong gets into the backline right here. Gets a knockup on the Maokai and the Morgana. Gnar ulti goes big right here in the middle of the team. Takes out the Maokai. And the red team is shredding the team right now. Corki ends up going down. Ezreal thinks that he can take this for himself. Is not able to finish off the Ahri though. Poppy is coming from base. Let's see if she's able to hold this by herself. Takes a little bit of damage right there. Poppy's probably going to try and go in for this one. Decides otherwise and just goes for the wave play right here. So these are ridiculous team fights coming in. Big plays being made on both sides as far as for hard engages, damage output, and just CC in general. The decisive factor here is probably going to be more lane manipulation and minion control, as far as for if the teams are going to be able to capitalize on big mistakes that are made. Because if one of the teams does not have the proper minion control and is not able to take up the base towers, then they will not be able to take the inhibitors. So let's see if they're able to make sure that they have everything set in place for them, or catch people in a 4v5 and then make a move towards Baron to make the shove a little bit easier. Blue team does not have that great of a split pusher. I would consider Gnar a little bit better than the Renekton, since he is able to chase and kite and hop over walls a little bit more. Renekton doesn't do that bad of a job, however, I feel that he would fail a little bit more in comparison. So blue team decides they want the Baron right now, and it looks like this will actually go uncontested. Red team completely unaware of what is going on. They are bottom lane, they are mid, getting waves. So let's see if blue team is able to group up and win these next team fights with the Baron. Make sure that their side waves are controlled as I stated. Renekton is already top side right now. Gnar is coming up to meet him. Red team is rotating for the Renekton. He decides to back off though. Lucian's going back to base right now. Poppy should be able to clean that up. Has to be cautious on her spacing right here. Corky is on a very aggressive side. Poppy, you are all by yourself, girl. Corky flies through the entire team all the way to the base. Gets picked up by the Ari. Lucian gets caught out underneath though. Wukong not using his ult just yet. Renekton's coming on down for the blue team. Blue team does have the Baron right now. Ends up sending the ult from Ezreal deep inside. Hits Ari. Gnar is here to hold off the push just slightly. Blue team does have the tower. Minions push to the top lane tower, so we should see a rotation which is coming through at the moment. There we go. This still is a little bit risky here from the blue team if they decide to commit to this. Now in terms of teleports, Renekton does have his up. Not that he needs to use it because he is full HP at the moment. However, from Gnar, his teleport is down, leaving them with a bit better pressure. Renekton is going in, ends up getting the stun onto the Ahri. Looks like he's going to pick that one up. Wukong's going through the entire team. The tower is still up. Ezreal ends up going down underneath the tower. There's a massive stun from the Morgana. Wukong once in with this one. Looks like he gets stunned up still a little bit more. Maokai is He's not able to do anything anymore. Nard comes on in, ends up picking up that one for himself. He's bouncing around. Isn't going to be able to find the Q. Morgana lands a binding in order to stop that. Looks like Lucian's not able to get off any auto attacks for the resets as far as for the dash or the additional movement speed. And that one ends up being more or less a wash as far as for both sides there. So red team does end up losing a tower. However, Corky decides to go in really aggressively right here. Is he able to pick anything up though? He is not. Wukong ends up going in. Ooh, chunk through the shield. Not that Wukong does any sort of magic damage though. It's a nice trade on the main damage dealer for the blue team, and that is 50 seconds that they have to work with. Let's see if they can capitalize on this with any sort of objective. Red team has not picked up another tower for a good while now. Blue team does look like they're up 1.5k at the moment. However, these team fights are still ridiculously close. And it's gonna probably come down more to positioning. So Dragon started up by the red side. They do not have the Corky with the package. Ari on the side zoning over here. Maokai throws out a sapling, not wanting to go in on that one or commit too hard. Looks like the red team's going to pick that one up for themselves. They are up 3-1. Depending on if the red team decides that they could win team fights or not, there is the chance they could drag this out for the 5th Dragon. However, it is probably not in their best interest to have the game go on that long. Maokai picks up the red. It's like teams are just staying regrouped right now. The next objective is potentially going to be Baron. Blue team is actually staying grouped, maybe trying to pull out a Fnatic right here, thinking that they could catch the red team whenever they come in deep for a ward. However, there's actually not much vision over on this side, on the top side of the map. Blue team is moving freely through this entire jungle. They could potentially catch somebody out right over here without them knowing it. No catch made. Ezreal ult comes through for the wave clear. Wukong is bottom side right now. Blue team does not have the chance to act on this 4v5 quick enough. Binding goes wide. Ezreal on the front side of that gets shunt down to half health. The shield comes in late. Wukong decides to go in on this. Gnar is mega. Maokai is just tanking on the front line. Wukong cannot get to the back. However, Maokai is not that tanky in order to take the shred from the team. Now the blue team's on the back end right here. There's a stun onto the Morgana. Wukong ulti goes through the entire team right there. Knocks up the Ezreal as well. Pick up from the Lucian and the Poppy right there. That is a full ace for the red team. Clean ace as well. There are no minions in prime position for the red team though. However, given the death timers, this should be enough to get an inhibitor. They're shredding this. Let's see what the red team decides to commit to completely here. This should be take as far as protecting the towers. There that goes. We'll have the inhib, and then if they could actually recall right now, they should be able to make it out. Poppy's got to be a little bit cautious right there. Make sure that you try to take probably as much jungle as you can whenever you have a massive push like that and the enemy team is not able to respond immediately outside of their base. There are no objectives up at the moment though. However, red team did come out a little bit better in that trade than what blue team is. Looks like there probably won't be a move towards that that fifth dragon though. Ezreal ult coming wide for the mid. All right. So in terms of how this will probably play out, blue team probably needs to hold off for the inhib because if they get aced again or something goes horribly wrong in their favor and they are on the back end of, say, a 3, 4, 5 or something, the remaining two members, considering that they're AD, should still be able to end the game. Baron is up now. The move will potentially be made by the red team to that objective. Renekton is kind of on a sketchy side of this right now. He gets knocked up right here. Binding lands onto the Lucian. He's going to be stunned up. Renekton's chunking him heavily right there. Stun over the wall. Flash over the wall. He's going to prevent that. The cleanse was burned by Lucian right there for the QSS. Morgana binding misses. Teams are just poking out, feeling it. Have Ezreal ulti going through the entire team right here. Wukong does have a GA. He has been in the middle of all these team fights, tanking a lot of things. So I can see that pickup being very useful. He also has the Black Cleaver completed, meaning that he will be shredding anybody that he's going to come across. Maokai taking a little bit of damage there. And now we have to wonder, are the fights going to end at the Baron, or is the red team just going to go straight into the enemy base and try to end it in a brute force manner? Nekton's on the top side. We have a collapse from the Gnar and the Wukong. Unaware of this. I don't think he's going to be able to get out of this one probably. The Gnar slow is going to be way too great. Wukong decides not to do the knockup. The Renekton TP is up. If he goes back to base right now, then they should be able to make this work if they decide to do a flank. No ults were burned from the red side either. Stun lands onto the Wukong. He's still very healthy at the moment. Mid lane is about even for the blue side. Alright, Lucian is not in the area. Renekton is not with the team as well. This Ezreal in terms of kills and assists is pretty big and should be able to kite very, very well with the team, as well as with the lifesteal, with the Essence Reaver and the Bloodthirster. And we might actually see this next fight be over at the Dragon Pit right now. So we have red team starting this right now. This will be the 4th dragon. Blue team is not in a place to respond. This should go over to them pretty freely. It gets taken. Gnar is Mega. This Mega will go down unless he decides to flash in for a big play right here. Poppy's wanting this. He ends up getting the stun onto the Ezreal. Gnar goes in for the stun right there, followed up with another stun. The team is split for the blue side right now. Red team is on the back end. This Morgana should be going down. Ends up finishing off with the Lucian. Wukong ends up finishing off the Corki right here. Lucian comes on in for a pickup on Ezreal. There is the stun. You're not getting out of that CC. And the Renekton falls as well. The remaining member of the blue team looks like it will be Maokai. Now, it's pretty doubtful that he will be able to defend this all by himself, but we'll see if he's able to pull off any magic out of his soccer rolls. Puts up the ult, and his base is just being shredded at the moment. Him as well. He's not going to be able to defend this at all. Looks like the red team is going to end up taking this one. Congratulations to Noah, Ensuing, Mirror Match, Sea Lion, and Pizzle. So congratulations, everybody. And once more, if we could just give a big thank you to Caitlin and Doug for helping put this on at the Nerdbird SA tournament. Hope everybody enjoyed the games and had lots of fun. And we will see you all next time.